Welcome into Boxing Scene's top stories here on ProBox TV. Download the ProBox TV app. Never fall behind in your boxing news. Well, William Zepeda, of course, a big fight February 22nd against Shakur Stevenson. You book a fight on the way. What could possibly go wrong against Tevin Farmer in the Saudi Arabian Latin night? Well, that's the question. A lot of people thinking this is a tune-up for Stevenson and that Farmer will be a glorified sparring partner. We've seen that kind of logic bite fighters in the you-know-what before. Will it happen again? Jimmy Smith alongside Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri here in studio. So, Paulie, when you look at it, is this essentially a glorified sparring session? You think Farmer will help him for Shakur Stevenson? Is that a smart idea going in this fight on Saturday?
You know what my thoughts are?
Please.
In the past few weeks, we're talking about this. We're giving new definition of beating the shit out of a dead horse. I mean, how many times am I going to talk about this fight? Guys, William Zepeda, I get it. He's got a slippery banana peel in front of him. I ran out of ideas to talk about with this fight. He's got a banana peel in front of him. All right, he's talented. I get it. All right, we get it. There's a lot of people around here. He's talented. All right, that's enough. He's talented. Tevin Farmer's a banana peel. If you take him lightly, he's going to beat you. You're a little bit flat-footed. You're going to go right at him, and you're going to fight a slickster. But why are you doing this? Because Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson are also southpaws, so it prepares you for a southpaw. I'm out of ideas. I talked about this already. Guys, I don't know what else to say about the fight. Just beat this horse. Beat it. Beat this horse.
Help me beat the horse, Chris. When you look at it, the idea that, of course, there's only one Shakur Stevenson, is there the idea of getting ready with someone else, is it even really a possibility?
No, not at all. And even Tevin Farmer in an interview said that. He goes, yeah, people are saying, like, you know, I'm like a test for Shakur Stevenson. He's like, we don't fight at the same at all, which is exactly what I said a few days ago. But I know, like you said, Chad, we've been talking about this a lot. But I got an idea.
Please.
I got an idea that I haven't discussed yet.
Thank you.
So, say Zepeda looks bad, but wins.
Yes.
I think that's good for him. I think it makes this fight happen a little quicker. Because, listen, Shakur coming off that hand injury, surgery, going right into a fight with Zepeda, I don't think that happens. I feel like that's not a really smart move when you got a guy who's going to be right in front of you and you're going to need both those hands. You're going to have to put hands on him. Shakur's going to have to crack Zepeda. So coming off that hand injury, it gives me a little bit of as ick because I've been a guy who's had hand problems before.
Why does Shakur then have to fight Zepeda? Why can't they make Gervonta and Zepeda? Why does Gervonta get to fight all the taxi drivers? Like, can he fight somebody too?
You know why? You know why? Because this is Riyadh season, and they put the cart before the horse quite a bit, and they make fights happen, and then they put on fights. The problem is also that they make these fights. They're good fights. They're great fights. It's actually not a problem. It's a good thing. They make great fights, but then we get upsets. And is there a possibility that Tevin Farmer upsets Zepeda? It is. I don't think so. I think it's a very small chance. I think Zepeda is going to go out there and do what he does. But Tevin makes you look bad. He's a difficult guy to get a win against and look good against. Yes. We saw that in the Motataya fight.
We talked about this too. We had the Liv Max Hughes fight. We had, guys were supposed to make him look bad, and he ran through them. And now you're stepping it up.
If Zepeda does look bad, I don't know if it's that bad of a thing for him career-wise moving forward. Listen, Paul, you know this. You've had some career fights that were underwhelming that jumped you right into a big fight next. It happened in my career a lot. Anytime I looked good, I knew nobody was going to touch me with a 10-foot pole. As soon as I look bad in a fight or look vulnerable in a fight, I got the next fight was a good one, good money, good payday, good fight, good everything. So it might not be the worst thing.
Yeah, but this idea is, Paulie, can a fighter think about that? If you're Zepeda, aren't you going balls to the wall, looking for the finish, doing what you do? Is it the idea of a fighter looking to do it, or is it just the opponent doing it for you?
I think Zepeda is your, prototypical Mexican destroyer. Like he's kind of built and programmed that way.
He's on or off.
So he's I don't think when you ask can you afford to do that? I don't think he's even programmed that way. I think he's gonna go balls to the wall, go for the gusto. Always looking to impress, always looking to get you out of there, always looking to stress you, always looking to, create chaos in that ring for you, especially if you're a fighter who relies on slowing down the chaos, like your Tevin Farmers of the world, like your Shakur Stevensons of the world, like your Gervonta Davises of the world. All these guys, yes, okay, they're a little bit different, but they all have the same mentality in the ring to slow the chaos down, all of them. So yeah, they get there in a different way, but they all get there in athletic ways. So yeah, while there's not a lot of similarity stylistically between Shakur and Tevin Farmer, there's a mentality that's very similar, and which is to destabilize, debilitate the chaos, slow it down to the point where you can control the action. And that's what Zepeda specializes in. He specializes in taking that away from you, creating chaos, making you feel hectic, and making you very, very uncomfortable, and then getting to you and annihilating you.
Champ, there are guys like that. One guy that reminds me exactly what you're just saying was a good friend of mine, a longtime sparring partner, is Richard Comey. So I remember the first time I sparred Richard, I was coming off a multiple-year layoff. I hadn't had a fight in a long time. And Richard was Richard. Richard really punched. This is before the Teofimo fight. This is actually before he was a world champion. And I remember going in the ring with him, and in Brooklyn, we sparred in the tiniest ring. It was wild how small the ring was. And I go in and I'm like, this guy's a puncher. I know he's good. He's got long arms. I'm out there. I'm boxing. I'm having a grand old time. I'm like, this is really not hard. Like, I really didn't expect this. I thought this was going to be a tougher sparring session. And then I hit him with a good shot, a good liver shot. And I saw him, and I was like, ooh, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go after him. Man, this guy unloads with 30 punches. I mean, I've never seen a guy get hurt to the liver and then fire off 30 hard shots. From then on, every time I sparred with him, it was absolute war, and he was so much more difficult to deal with. A guy like that can't. There is no middle gear. It's on or off.
And then they're also in your head.
And then, Zepeda's a puncher too, but you got a guy who can punch and he's really coming at you. I mean, I saw his eyes change, and I was like, whoop. Zepeda strikes me as the same kind of guy. He's not going to go out there and ho-hum around. He's going to go balls out, balls to the wall, make that chaos, make it very uncomfortable for Tevin Farmer, and make it a fight. The guy's a fighter. He wants you to fight him. He's not going to go out there and box you. So that's where we got to see if Tevin Farmer, at this late stage of his career, he's older but also heavier. This is not his weight class. He's really a 30-pounder. So now he's got to deal with a true 35-pounder, and he's advanced in age against a guy who really brings it. We'll see if he can deal with the pressure that Zepeda is ultimately going to bring.
Yeah, one last question, just for me personally as a fan. Paulie, you talk about the hand issues of Shakur Stevenson. How much can you test it in the gym? How much is it like you don't really crack? As Chris was saying, you don't always really crack in sparring. Can you really test it in the gym, or do you have to test it out in the fight?
You got to test it out in the fight because you're hitting skull, you're hitting headgear, and you're hitting with 8-ounce gloves. I would be really shocked if Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson happens after Zepeda is done with Farmer. But let's see, like we've been saying, let's see how he looks against Farmer first.
It's going to be an excellent fight, maybe leading to another excellent fight early next year. Is happening this weekend, a Latin night. That's right, in Saudi Arabia. Going to be a great fight. Now, that's how boxing news makes boxing news, is great fights. Hopefully we get other great fights. So we'll see how that happens and if Zepeda looks good enough to warrant a showdown with Shakur Stevenson early next year. And when they do, and it makes boxing news, you'll see it here on ProBox TV.
ProBox TV Contender Series. On December 7th, look for an all-out Irish war as Dylan the Real Deal Moran battles Tyrone the Mighty Celt McKenna at the top of a stacked ProBox-worthy card.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.